Welcome to Day2Day Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Butterfield. Welcome to episode 2. Day2Day Podcast is a podcast dealing with your battles with depression. Today we have a special guest. It's one of my boys, Romarick Anderson. Romarick, how you doing today?
Hey, how's it going, Mike?
Man, I'm chilling.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Hey, anytime, my good sir. Romarick, while you're here, can you just introduce yourself, please?
Hello, my name is Romarick Anderson. I come from California, Southern California to be exact. 39 years of age, half black, half white. That does make a difference in this world. I'd have to say it does make a difference.
I kind of disagree.
So you say, but I just realized as of 39 that I may have or maybe suffering from depression.
Okay. And how long have you been dealing with depression, my good sir?
Now that I'm actually conscious of the fact that I may be, or I'm going to say I do, but I would have to say all my life, to be honest with you. I've thought about it, and, in this process, I would have to say all my life.
Okay, like, you say all your life, but all your life starts at age, when did you realize? You know what I mean? Was it...
For me, my earliest memories as a kid was a lot of violence. A lot of yelling, pops dumping on moms. You know what I'm saying? A lot of domestic disputes in my household. So I would have to say pretty young. I can't really put the exact number on it, but old enough to remember things like that. As a kid, I was at 4, 5, 6, around in that areas.
So you're saying at that time you realize you're depressed, or you realize you're depressed within the last few 10 years or so?
I think the last 5 years I knew something was wrong. Mm-hmm. And this last year I actually put thought into how did I get to this point. So my starting point would be as a child.
Gotcha.
And my end point is now we're here talking about it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And just trying to shed light on this type of darkness.
So within the last few years you realize you've been depressed. So you never felt it growing up as an adolescent, like during your teen years, or
I know I felt it. It's just in my head, and again thinking about it as this last year, in my head, I've always thought to myself, if I said I had a problem, I was giving power to the problem.
Okay.
More a sense that I'm succumbing or conforming to the fact that I am depressed. I wasn't thinking of the fact that maybe saying it would help me, or maybe it would let other people know where I'm at in my world.
Okay.
But I don't know. It's weird just how I'm dealing with it now. Mm-hmm. Because there's people that go, oh, I'm depressed, I'm going to go see a psychiatrist. You know what I'm saying?
Have you seen a psychiatrist?
Never. I've never seen a psychiatrist.
Okay. So
one time it was family therapy between my mom and her step-husband.
Okay.
But that was their whatever. And for me, never personally, no.
Well, what was like one of your darkest moments where you felt like the world is against me, or your worst moment, feeling like what was your worst moment, and what were your thoughts at that time?
My worst moment, it really sunk in when I more or less when my kids left California.
Okay.
When they left California, that put me in a weird, because now I'm solo in a sense.
How long ago was that?
This is going on 5 years now. They've been they live in Utah with their mother, and it's not like she uprooted them and took them and ran with them. We discussed it, and in my thinking, it was better for them, especially in California, and I even agree with it today, that they're getting better education in Utah, but at my sacrifice.
Absolutely.
In a sense, I am a dad. I've always loved being a dad. Mm-hmm. Never really a great significant other or husband, if you will, but a dad, 100%.
Were you a dirtbag?
Oh, everybody's a dirtbag. I can admit it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's a dirtbag, but I can admit it. Not to say that she wasn't. You know what I'm saying?
Got it.
But everybody got dirty hands is all I'm saying.
No, I got
Anyhow, but when they left, it put me in a weird position because I've always wanted to be a dad. And when I had my kids, I was always there for them. From 0 to 10, I raised my daughter, took her to school, woke up with her. I always worked nights. Her mom worked mornings. So, I was Mr. Mom in the mornings, you know what I'm saying? Taking her to school, breakfast, doing their hair, all that stuff. And, when pick her up from school and, doing the homework, making sure that after the homework they eat their lunch, snacks, all that was me, Mr. Dad. And once that was taken away from me, I don't think I really had a purpose other than that.
Got you.
I didn't have there was nothing other than my children to me. And then I never thought about what if I didn't have my children.
And it automatically, even though you knew it was coming, you just felt a disappearance out of your life.
Oh, it was not even a disappearance. It was just something that it was like somebody. It would be like the Indiana Jones scene where he took the dude's heart out of his chest, but he's still living.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Like it's that. Like it's not there anymore.
So what were you doing to cope with your depression at that time?
Comedy, straight up and down. Comedy was one of the biggest things that really helped me get through a lot of shit.
Okay.
Excuse me for cursing.
No, you're open.
But it really did help because, and for me, I came up in the right type of way, was learning from the greats, learning how it's done, and learning to be genuine on stage. I've learned doing comedy, the realer you are with your stories and the more genuine they could be, the funnier they are. People relate to your problems.
Absolutely.
Regardless of how bad I feel about it, I'm out there making people laugh with my pain. Like straight up and down. That makes me feel good. It's kind of like taking care of kids. You know what I'm saying?
No,
like, that
you.
made me feel good. So, while they were out in Utah, I was a beast. I was getting up every night, 5 times a week. I was getting booked. There was things that I couldn't have done with kids.
Okay.
That I did. But, at the same time, though, I think I was shrouding the fact that I wanted my kids. So I was filling an empty hole with a lot of stuff.
Absolutely.
And most of it was unnecessary, truthfully, but the comedy was the most constant and consistent.
What was unnecessary?
Well, the drinking, the hanging out, the partying, the girls, you know what I mean? A lot of that stuff, we could have refined that a little bit more better, but at the end of the day, no regrets. You understand what I'm saying? At the end of the day, no regrets. And but that still does play a factor of how I got to where I'm at now. You know what I mean?
So pretty much your darkest day is when the kids left.
For sure.
And moved to Utah.
For sure.
And so that was your worst moment growing up, or not growing up, within the last few years. And you, by coping with it, was just doing a lot of comedy, going on stage.
Hitting the fuck it button. Just fuck it. Just fuck it. Pretty much at the end of the day, they're not in town, so they're not seeing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I could be whatever the hell I want to be, and all I got to do is make a phone call and make sure they're good. You understand what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Regardless of the stories they may hear 10 years later. You know what I mean?
No,
but,
I gotcha.
I hit the fucking button. I was on my grind. I was in the streets, doing my thing, drinking a lot. Yeah.
Did the drinking fuck with you at all, or?
I think the drinking really perpetuated the depression more so than anything. Drinking is fun, but that shit brings out a lot of darkness in you. And depending on the type of color, if it's clear, dark, and whatnot, that's the demon you're gonna get.
I always think that depends on the person, though. The clear, the dark, and tequila. You know how everybody talks about.
You know what's funny? But I witnessed it. There are people that are happy on vodka, and there are people that are violent on vodka.
I agree.
Straight up,
yeah.
You're right, but in a sense, I've more so statistically seen the numbers. The darker, the more emotional.
Okay.
The lighter, the more angry. You know what I mean? It's the more anger comes out. So but yeah, the alcohol really did play a big part as far as perpetuating the idea of negativity, negative thoughts, negative wishes, negative doings, ongoings, you know what I mean?
And how often were you drinking? Did you say every night, or did you say
every day, for sure.
Every day?
Every day.
And
for sure.
How heavy?
When I say every day, until I fell asleep.
Okay.
And I'm being straight. And full disclosure. Since we're going to do this right. Full disclosure.
Okay.
Every day, until I fell asleep.
And then typically what time would you fall asleep? 2, 3, 4, 5?
At those times, I really wasn't sleeping because I'd be at the clubs, working some spots. and then we'd be at the after hours drinking, and then we go to the breakfast. So I mean, sometimes the sun would already be up. Sometimes I wouldn't even go to sleep. You know what I mean? I just keep pushing. But that's that fuck it button. You know?
Yeah. And is that fuck it button still valid today?
It's only pressed when needed, instead of just casually using it.
What is when needed?
Well, sometimes you just have to say fuck it. You know, there are situations where, you know, they just don't allow you to be a human being.
Okay.
And you have to say fuck it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I get that.
But you can't do it everywhere and anywhere is my question. Is what I'm saying.
When was the last time you hit the fuck it button?
Last week.
Why did you hit the fuck it button?
It wasn't me. I was put in a situation, basically, my brother got in my face.
Okay.
All right. And he feels certain type of way. And, you know, I would have to say that my whole family suffers from depression, and we just don't realize it. But
when did you realize that?
Honestly, last year, 2017, around my birthday. It was around my birthday. It was just kind of like, you know, I really was, something was wrong. Something was wrong. But it was nothing that, if I told somebody, they would be like, you seem okay.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that sucks because that just means I learned how to cope with it. I learned how to, like, make it a part of my life. Meaning that's something I don't need, but now I've made it my uniform in life.
Okay.
Which is crazy. But I digress and I go back to the story.
Absolutely.
So it's just stupid. In my family, there's no communication. It's pretty much fuck you or I'll punch you in the face. Pretty much, bottom line. And that's basically what happened.
Everybody's a tough person.
So, you know, in front of my daughter, too, we're doing laundry in the laundry room, and my brother comes out, and, well, basically, he threw his dirty clothes on my clean clothes in the washer. Fucking disrespectful, right?
A little disrespectful.
That's a lot of disrespectful. I don't know. Listen, I just spent time cleaning my clothes, and you throw your dirty shit. And now he's a chef. Mind you, he's a chef. So who knows what's on his uniform, let alone I got clean clothes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And why the motherfucker didn't just check the washer? Why didn't he just check it? All right. So I made a mention. I said, hey, did you throw your clean clothes in the washer? Apparently he felt some type of way. And that meant I'm going to fuck everybody up in the house. So he got up, got in my face. My daughter's in the laundry room. And I'm like, this is where I was talking about you can't just hit the fucking button all the time. Okay. I mean, this is my daughter. She's witnessing this. Now, I need to be the adult in this situation.
Quick question. Have you and your brother got into it in front of your daughter before this?
Oh, this is what we do. That's Team Andersons. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying? This is if we not getting in somebody's face, you know what I'm saying, on a special occasion, something wrong. You know what I mean? It's like somebody getting cut. Okay. Is basically, it's just the combination of who's it gonna be is the difference. So so I had to play real cordial. You know, I said something, but he was trying to get in my face. But I'm like, look, man, I was just letting you know, you threw your dirty clothes on my washer, you know, on my clean clothes, you know. I don't know what happened from there on, but he just snapped, grabbed me by my shirt, and then pushed me down to the ground. And now I'm like, okay, so we're doing this. Okay, so we're doing this, right? My daughter's in the laundry room.
Two grown-ass men.
In the laundry room. What kind of shit is this? Over fucking laundry, buddy.
Sober.
Okay, so, yeah, very sober. Okay. Very sober. So now I'm on the ground, and I'm like, what is going on? I was like, leave me alone. You know, I'm trying to be cool. My daughter's sitting here. Finally, my daughter leaves. Okay. Yes. This is when you hit the fuck it button, right? I don't know what happened. By the grace of Thor or Odin, I was able to reverse this whatever hold or some sort. I ended up flipping him over on the ground where he got stuck on top of his arm, and I'm just wailing on this kid. Yeah. But, like, I'm not wailing on him, bro. Like, I'm like gone. This is not me anymore. It's like if you would have walked in on the scene, you would have thought I was trying to murder the kid. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, yo. And then I woke up.
First 48 episode.
Then I woke up. And that was my fuck it button story. You know what I mean? I took the kids, we went to go get lunch, whatever. Everything calmed down. And like nothing. It's like everyday life. Like nothing.
No, I got you. So the fuck it button comes out.
And that's it. And that's it. But that's when you hit the fuck it button. Not in front of the kids.
No.
Not in front of the public. You know, I mean, that's the, you know.
I get that. So typically, how do you deal with coping with your depression?
Well, now more so that I'm cognitive of the situation, I've had to make a lot of changes. Basically, limit my drinking as much as possible.
Okay.
That was one of the biggest things that, I mean, like I said, every day. That's one of the biggest things that was a big hindrance. Very slow, sluggish thought process was all messed up. Even just health, just taking dumps was just not fun. You know what I mean? Like, it just gets weird.
I understand.
And then...
So how often are you drinking now compared to...
Well, I'm still drinking. It's hard, but not as much. I try to go every weekend and not the weekdays. But now I'm on the every other day. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
I understand.
But to me, and here's the reason why I do that though, but about 5 or 6 months ago, I got a trainer and I went to the gym. Mm-hmm. You've known me for as long as dirt knows dirt. I don't think I've ever been to the gym since you've known me. Ever had to work out. I've always had that physique where it just was
natural.
But I'm 39 now, man, and it was showing. It was showing pretty bad. To the point where my son is grabbing my breast, talking about their breast, and I'm like, no, these are pecs, son.
Yeah.
Like, nah, but it's not happening. But going to the gym, working out, getting that physical sweat out, and just clearing. I'd be frustrated now, and I'm like, yo, there's nothing more I want to do. Then go to the gym.
Absolutely.
Because I'm gonna go sweat it out, and I'm not as frustrated coming out of the gym. So that was another thing. And probably the hardest one is purging the people around you, purging the people that really, they may not know that they're hurting you worse by being around you. It's nothing personal.
Absolutely not.
Nothing personal. Some of them will take it personal, and they have. I think that's why me and my brother got into it, because he was one of the persons that got purged from my life. That was, he's just toxic. You know what I'm saying? And I think it just upsets him that I don't think he knows how to deal with that. But for me, it's a better change in my life, just so that I can stop worrying about that shit and get on my stuff. You know what I mean? The purge is very important with the drinking and the health, working out. But you have to, I think it's necessary. You have to purge. There's just some people out there that can't be alone and won't be alone, and they're going to take you with them, let alone they need you. They might need you, but they're messing you up more than they're messing anything up. So I think it would be 1, purge, 2, health, and then 3, quit drinking. You know what I mean? In that order.
So you're trying to quit drinking, or you just taking?
I don't think I'm gonna try to quit drinking. I don't think there's ever a reason to quit drinking. I just think I need to minimize and maximize my time. You know what I mean? Minimize the drinking time and maximize my getting it money. You know what I mean? Getting it. You know. And with drinking, I think everybody knows. You put in a good night of drinking, that next day, whoa, yo. I mean, so now it takes me a good 16 hours to recoup. 16? Sometimes days.
Yeah.
Sometimes days.
Yeah, it takes me about 2 days, man.
I can't do it no more. Like, I can't do it. And there's things that I've missed because I was too hungover. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was better that I didn't go, because if I showed up in the condition,
you would have been bad news.
For sure. I'd have been wrapped, for sure.
Yeah.
But, even now that I know the depression is there, and even though now that, and it's crazy because I say this, a lot of people don't realize one of my other brothers, he lives up in Washington, and he went to marriage counseling, and the counselor actually diagnosed him with PTSD.
Wow.
Post-traumatic distress syndrome. And I've thought about this for a long time, and this is about 5 or 6 years ago this happened. So, and I'm 2 years older than he, so we live in the same household, Then I got one that's 6 years younger than me, and then I got a sister that's 8, 9 years younger than me. And anyways, there's a gaggle of us. But we lived in that same traumatic situation, and like I said before, it was mainly like domestic violence, yelling, just irresponsibility of adults, just irresponsible adults. But people think PTSD is just for soldiers, and I think that's the allure, is the fact that you have to go to war to have this symptom.
That's what I always thought, though.
But no, it's in the words post-traumatic distress.
Now that you say it, it makes sense.
Post-traumatic. This is something that is traumatizing to your life, and it affects you after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason why it's connected to the soldiers is because they get trauma on a consistent basis.
Mm-hmm.
For us that live in the states that they're fighting for us to be free, a lot of it is not as consistent. The traumatic. Well, for most of us, for some of us, for a lot of us, it's there. Just people ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many combinations of situations, but post-traumatic syndrome is not just for soldiers. It's for everyday people. I mean, you got people going to work, shooting up work. You got people going to school, shooting up school. This is post-traumatic, distress.
True. Yeah, it's true.
I mean, but we don't label it as that because we see it as a military thing.
Absolutely.
And trust and believe, I don't take anything away from the military.
I don't think you're saying that.
I do think that it does need to be recognized that there are people in the States that don't have to go to war that are suffering today. Mm-hmm. And it needs to be corrected. It needs to be situated. And I don't even think they know that they have it.
Yeah, those people that just will randomly snap, and you're like,
where the hell did that? It's a Sunday, everybody at brunch, and all of a sudden this fool flipped out, stabbing everybody with a fork.
Yeah.
But it was what they call triggers, the red flag triggers.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Something triggered it, and it's crazy because let me ask you: do you have triggers?
Yes.
What's one of your triggers?
Someone messing with my son.
And that's I get that, but I mean, is there something
something that would make me snap?
Like a smell or a sound or, somebody that does, like for me, smacking. Like you smack your food. I used to get smacked in the face for smacking my food.
Okay, so if we're going to go that way, it's going to be the scraping your teeth on the fork.
Okay, yeah. When you're eating, that's a trigger, right? That's something that it's post-traumatic. Mm-hmm. Something that has happened to you. Now, every time you hear this sound, you're going to wild out, no matter what. And nobody will understand that.
No.
Because that's you. That's you.
You grew up with that, so.
That's your traumatic. That's your trauma.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, it's weird because when my brother told me that, it really shed some light on a lot of things in my life. You know what I mean? It was, wow, soldiers don't just have PTSD, but regular people could have PTSD. And once you start realizing, you start breaking it down, and then you start trying to compound. I mean, you have to be mentally willing to do so.
Absolutely.
I feel that there's a lot of people out there that know they're depressed, but they don't want to go any further.
Yeah, they don't want to do anything.
They'd rather you feel sorry for them. They'd rather you just, give them their 15 minutes of depression fame, I guess, or baby them. But
I've seen a lot of people that want to be babied.
Right. And we probably know people that want to be babied. We're like, but we wouldn't do that because we know that's not what you need.
Yeah.
Enabling is another thing, too. And you got to think about it. This world right now, come 2018, everything has changed. Mm-hmm. There is no such thing as a moral structure anymore. We are rebuilding the moral structure as it is right now. I don't even know
what is a moral structure anymore.
I feel like I can go tell somebody I'm depressed and I tell them my story and they be like, that ain't shit. Mm-hmm. Right now, they're so jaded. They're so emotionless because everything is so quick information is too fast right now.
Yeah.
It's too fast. Yeah. And nobody knows how to process their emotions anymore. Yeah. It's too quick, way too quick. So now being depressed in a world where, well, what are the rules now? Mm-hmm. How do we handle this? Mm-hmm. Is my degree that serious enough to go get help, or am I just making shit out of nothing?
Yeah.
But I don't feel that way. I feel like I do need help. That's why I came to do this. I feel like this is helping, talking about it, opening up. When you mentioned the platform, I was like, that's something that needs to be more out there. Mm-hmm. You would be surprised of how many people would want to talk. I mean, imagine when you called me to come do this interview. I wasn't like, but I was like, yeah, sure, what's up? Let's do
absolutely.
it. I was down.
I knew once I felt my depression that I was like, I know I'm not the only one. I know. Yeah. You know what I mean? I said, I know.
But how do you bring it up is the question. How do you bring it up?
In my personal opinion, it just depends who you talk to. You have certain people that you could be honest with.
Full disclosure.
Right. So, for example, if I really need to talk to you, I could really talk to you in the corner like, this is how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
How dark it is. Right? You only have a few, maybe I could name 4. Maybe.
That's a lot, and that's a big number. That's a big number.
That is a lot, but I know a lot of people at the same time.
But to say out of those, a lot of people, that these would be the 4...
Full disclosure.
The 4 horsemen.
Yeah.
These are your 4 horsemen right here.
Full disclosure.
See,
with no...
That's a big number. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. So, but it is hard, though.
Now, let me ask you this. Out of the 4, do you actually use them, or do you just let them sit?
It just depends. I may use one here. You know what I mean? I don't want to...
I mean, and I guess I should rephrase that as saying that, do you use them when it's necessary, or do you wait until after the fact?
I usually sit on what I'm depressed about, try to figure it out, and then if I can't shake, if I remember we were talking about earlier how you ponder.
Yeah.
If I'm pondering on it too long,
right,
then I know it's becoming an issue. Now it's taking over me. So then I know at that particular point in time I need to talk to someone. You know what I mean?
Now that's crazy, because a lot of people wouldn't be able to do that. They wouldn't be able to process. Like it sounds like you're getting a grip.
Oh yeah.
To the depression.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, it sounds like you're developing a process of getting away from that, which is totally dope. But what about those, like, what about the ones that don't know? Like, how do we get there? How do we get to those? Like, you know what I mean?
What do you mean that don't know?
They're depressed, or they're suffering, or they need help. You know, I mean, hopefully they're listening to this.
Yeah, this is in a sense why I'm trying to build this platform.
Right.
And once I start like sharing it and going live with it, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get some instant messages and so forth and so forth saying, you know what, I've been depressed and da 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 da. So, yeah,
I think it is good to share your story. It does help.
Make it cool
when you hear it. But you got to be ready for it. Just like in comedy, man. In comedy is the same thing. Just because you go through something in life doesn't mean it's gonna translate correctly on stage. I've seen a lot of comics go up there trying to push the envelope. They want to be the game changer with the, certain situations. But basically, all they did was just open up a box of their life, and it's kind of like if I served you a nice, good-looking steak on top of a trash can top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, I'm not gonna eat that shit. Like, it's just so weird. Like, it's so awkward. And so you got to be careful when you bring people into your world, because the language doesn't translate.
Yeah.
People live in different families, cultures. Even if you black, you white, it doesn't matter. We could all be black and still have different cultures to come from.
I have gotten to the point though at 39 where I truly, and I'm being real, I don't give a fuck no more.
Yeah.
So if you
that's that fucking button.
And if you look at me a certain way, hey, that's how you see me. That's how you see me. I'm not going to try to do anything to change your views. That's how you want to see me.
Well, it's not even that they want anymore. That's what society's making them do now. Yeah. I mean, off of Twitter, off of anything, people are going ape shit off of nothing. What are we arguing about?
Yeah.
Nobody even knows what the point is anymore. They just want to argue.
Yeah.
And now you have all these depressed people with a platform to open up, and they're not processing their feelings correctly, and this is what you get.
Exactly.
It's stuff like this. It's crazy.
Quick question: How often does your depression trigger?
That's a good question. And now that I'm paying attention to it more often than I'd like it to, I do have some good spurts. I've had some pretty good spurts. A couple weeks, 3 weeks here and there. It's gotten to a point though, the holidays is kind of rough, especially when you're sharing kids and all that stuff. But I this past Christmas, it was a little rough. I was probably like every other day. I'd have a good day off the next day, good day off the next day. But then now I'm back to, all right, right now I'm good. I'm at a good 2.5 weeks. Like, I'm solid right now.
Okay.
Perfect, like good, and I'm processing, everything is good. But again, there's just those triggers that I'm trying to
stay away from,
or just trying to figure out how I can make it not affect me.
Gotcha.
It's just those deals, because they're always going to be there.
Yeah.
Regardless. I mean, just like the scraping the teeth on the fork.
Yeah.
People are always going to do it.
Yeah.
Do you always say something is the question. Do you always need to make a mention?
It's when my depression kicks in. You can hear a lot more on episode 1. But when my depression kicks in, it's usually after a weekend of binge drinking. So that Monday or Tuesday.
Well, it's that alcohol.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the alcohol.
Exactly. So that Monday, roughly Monday or Tuesday, you start having these bad thoughts. Start being down on yourself, and you put yourself in these dark places.
You start asking the wrong questions.
I'm thinking about the wrong things, and I've realized though I've been literally attempting and doing well at defeating that, because once these negative thoughts start coming in, I'm like, oh no, you're tripping.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. So, before you can even come in, I need to make sure you're on the list.
So now I am battling that negative voice in the back of my head. You know what I mean? So that voice is slowly but surely getting defeated. So there's always, to me, so in my depression is that voice in the back of your head. It's this little black monster like Stranger Things.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it just gets larger and larger as time go on. And if you don't fix it, it will never shrink back down.
Well, I wouldn't say never. It's just harder to get it to where you need it to be.
Exactly.
And like I was saying earlier, I think it sucks because how I found a way to make this depression a part of my life instead of trying to separate from it. But I never really had people around me saying, hey, there's something wrong with you. Maybe we need to sit down and talk about it. Yeah. I see the big changes in you. I see, there's something I never had that.
Yeah.
I think people, but at the same time, my personality, my demeanor, I'm always consistently flowing. It doesn't matter. So it's like when people see me, they automatically assume everything's okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm constantly going.
That's everybody.
Right.
Well, not everybody, but that's a lot of people.
Right. And lo and behold, you may have just left me, or I may have just left you, and I've had shit in my head that while I was talking to you that I should have probably said something, but I didn't. But I didn't. But what I'm saying is, you would have never known. You would never know.
Yeah.
You would never know. And that trips me out more so because now it's not I feel like it's in my DNA, if you will, versus I can just separate, make it a different entity of it. Like, it's in me.
Yeah.
It's in, like you said, the voice in your head. Well, that's your voice.
Exactly.
It's not a monster.
Oh, no.
That's your voice in your head. So it's in your DNA. So how do we break down you know what I mean? Like, now we're just, it's basically evolution. You're evolving into the better human.
Absolutely.
You're evolving. This is not a transformation. You're transitioning out of whatever the fuck is going on. And that is crazy.
Yeah.
And some people don't make it.
Yeah, some people
don't even realize that there's
some people don't realize, some people don't want to. There's a lot to it.
Right.
It just depends on where you're at mentally, and like I said, it's hard, especially when you're in that deep dark place, which I haven't been yet, but I understand that a lot of people have.
I mean, do you have to be there to actually know that something? That's my point. Is we shouldn't be getting to that deepest part of blackness. We should be able to go, hey,
something's
wrong. I'm too deep.
Yeah.
I need to go up.
No, I hear you.
And that's like I'm saying, like, we're just wearing it. We're just carrying this burden. And it's like, let me ask you this. Since you have started your transitioning out of the deep black place, how much lighter do you feel?
Like 1,000 pounds. I feel, me personally, I feel lighter. I feel smarter. I feel
smarter. I feel the same way. Like, I know I've been smart, but like, I do feel like I can say some shit, and you need to listen.
I'm clear-headed.
Right. Clarity,
because it's foggy in there sometimes.
A lot of times.
So once you clear it up, it's nothing but sun rays and sunlight and all that beauty.
Okay.
So yeah, right now, and like I said, it's still there's some fog in there.
For sure.
Sometimes it's Seattle, sometimes it's California.
Right. I got you.
So it is what it is. But nonetheless, how are you doing today with your depression?
Today, I if you ask me now, I'm saying I can only answer is I'm still going through it. It's day to day. I'm never gonna say, oh, I'm good because it's been 2.5 weeks.
Absolutely.
I've only been really focused on this depression thing for a solid 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
That's really not a long time. I'm 39 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's clearing up all these post-traumatic demons inside me and getting past all of that. I think, sometimes I stop and think about, well, where were my opportunities to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever stop to think about that? Like, back in the day, like, I know, why am I here, and where were those opportunities for me not to be here? You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I don't think that's a wrong question to ask if you answer it correctly.
Yeah, but unfortunately, the past is the past.
No, you're right. You're right.
And
but it's for me, it's labeling those moments so that I know that the next time it comes up,
I get you.
You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
where were those moments at that I could have said, hey, Mike, I need you to listen to me really quick.
Absolutely.
Hey, Mom, I really need you to listen to me.
Unfortunately, I thought you were talking about in regards to like.
Well, right. Ask the wrong question, but answer it right.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That you're absolutely right. That's a question that's very dangerous because you could have the wrong answers come back to you, and that could fuck you all up and put you right back to where you don't need to be. That's why I'm saying now I just want to marker those moments so that if the time comes, and it's always like repeating yourself, that's what it is. It's just consistency of brutalizing yourself mentally and physically, knowing when it's coming, seeing the storm come before it comes. So that's why I say, when did those moments come? So that I know that it's coming again, I'll be ready for it this time.
Absolutely, it makes sense. Makes sense. So as of today, you understand that you're still in the battle.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. And I don't think I'll ever be out of the battle, but I think I'll have more control of what the battle does to me and for me.
Okay.
I just think right now the world in itself, I think the whole world is depressed, to be honest with you. Just nobody wants to admit it. Yeah. There's too many labels on things. There's too many enabling situations. There's too much caffeine. There's too much sugar. There's too much television. There's a lot of things right now that there's too much of, and we need to start pulling back, because otherwise we're just gonna eat each other up.
And I
straight
agree.
Cannibalistic. And I appreciate you having this platform. More so, and I'll say it again because this is what the world needs. This is what it needs. Dialogue, opening up. We're not doctors. I don't have a PhD. I smoke a lot of weed, but that's about it. But at the end of the day, if this can help somebody else not pull that trigger, not jump, not do something more stupid than they're already doing, then I'm all for that right now, because we need to get back. Black, white, Mexican, I don't give a shit. Yeah. People, humanity, we need to get back to the human race, because we have lost our way, and we need to find our way back, because there's no future if it's going to continue on like this, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, Romarick, I appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you too, man. Thank you for having me.
Once again, this is Day2Day Podcast. And by the way, if you are feeling suicidal, please do call 1-800-273-8255. Once again, that number is 1-800-273-8255 for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Once again, my name is Michael Butterfield. Thank you for listening to episode 2, Day2Day Podcast, and we are out.